Welcome to sewing class. I'm Annette Julie, and today we're going to be working on your hem sample. You would have needed to watch Fashion A, Preparing Muslin for Sewing, Part 1 and 2, prior to watching this video, so you know how to measure, snip, rip, and block your 18 by 18 inch square. So, like I said, this square of muslin is 18 inches. And I've already worked on pressing and blocking, but we're going to do a little bit more so it looks nice and fresh to start our sewing. This iron is set at the high heat because it is cotton. And we've got our water in there for steam. I'm trying to press all those edges nice and flat, work any wrinkles out that I might have. And when you're ironing, don't ever leave it in just one place. You could go ahead and burn the fabric. So I had already prepared this 18 by 18, and we're just going to check it and see how the blocking is. Take it, put it on a grid or a piece of paper. Line up lengthwise grain. And now we're checking the cross grain. Well, it's pretty good. It goes up there a little bit, so I might do a little bit of pulling down right in that one area on the bias and to get it to come pull down a little bit. And you do any kind of blocking, pulling on the bias, after you press. That looks fine. So now that you have your 18 by 18 inch blocked, we're going to go ahead and draw some seam allowance on there. We're going to be doing 1/4 inch seam allowance, 1/2 inch seam allowance, 3/4, and 1 inch. So let's start by drawing the 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now you have an option of what seam allowance to put inside of it. So if we want to end up with a 1/4 inch, let's just put a little smidgen less than a 1/4. Line this up, your ruler, on the last intact thread here, little bit less than a 1/4 inch. Draw that line all the way to the other side. Now, go up another 1/4 inch. Draw that second line. So we've got up a little bit less than a 1/4 and a 1/4. Now we're going to turn it. And we're going to go ahead and mark the next seam allowance, which is 1/2 inch. So your first line, let's have it be a little bit less than a 1/2 inch. Line that ruler up. And then now go up 1 full 1/2 inch. That is 4/8. So we're going from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's your full 1/2 inch. Make sure that's lined up. Good. 1/2 inch seam allowance. Right? A little bit less than a 1/2 and then a 1/2. And we're going to turn it. And we're going to do 3/4. So we're going to line this up a little bit less than 3/4. Probably more closer to about 5/8. Okay. Going to draw 5/8. And now the second line I'm going to draw is going to be the 3/4. So let's line that up. And let's draw our 3/4. We're going to turn one more time, and the last measurement we're going to do is 1 inch. So let's do more like 7/8 for our first line. And now let's do a full inch. Okay, great. We've got the 7/8 and then an inch. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to get the iron back over here. We're going to do a little bit of pressing. And we're going to press up all of those measurements. First, starting with the quarter. Here we go. So you can see the line that you've drawn on there. And what I first want you to do is just do a little finger pressing. Like take it and press it back on that line. Just use your fingers to sort of crease it where it should go. Okay, that looks good. And do this the full length. And it doesn't matter if you're starting on the length or crosswise grain. Okay, for your markings. So there we go. We've done a nice little finger press, the full length. Now you can actually see it sitting up, right? Let's put the iron on it. And rather than go back and forth right now, just sort of block it into place. Not too much back and forth movement. More like up and down. Okay, that's our first one. Now, we're going to go again, our second measurement. Uh-oh, is that something from the iron? I hope not. Oh, good. What a relief. There we go. We'll go up another quarter. We can see our line. Let's go ahead and finger press it. Take your fingers, press along the line that you already drew. Make a nice little crease. Okay, good. Now, you can use either one of your rulers, again, to check your own work. Making sure that you're exactly at 1/4 of an inch. Once you're happy with that, go ahead and get the ruler on it, and we're pressing the 1/4 inch. So that line, I went back and forth on. That looks good. 1/4. Had a little earthquake with my shoulder there in the middle. Okay, now go on to the second one. We're going to press it back our little bit less than 1/2 inch and then 1/2 inch. We already have our markings. Oops, it's this next one. There we go. Let's press that up. Let's do our little finger pressing. We're doing the 1/2 inch. So you should be seeing a little bit less than 1/2 inch. And at the end, where it's already pressed, just open it up. And we're going to press over it. We're going to keep all those crease marks. So press it again with your fingers. Make sure it's right on that edge, right where you drew that line. Okay, go ahead and check it before you put the iron on it. Let's do a little blocking. Okay, that looks good. Now we have the second line to turn it up. Let's go ahead and finger press this line. That looks good. Right on that line. And my fingers are really helping to crease a nice line without it being permanent, because then I can make an adjustment. Okay, that looks awesome. Now we're going to make it permanent and confirm it with the iron. That looks great. Okay, let's turn. Now we're doing the 3/4 inch. So you're pressed up a little bit less than that. It was about 7/8. We're going to finger press. And if you were to do the edge stitch on the 1/4 inch side, but like you do it on all 4 sides, 1/4 inch, you'd have a great dinner napkin. But right now we're just practicing our 1/4 inch, our 1/2 inch, and our 3/4. That 3/4 I just finger pressed and it looks nice. Now, that's about 7/8. Now we're up the full 3/4. Doing the second one. There we go. Let's go ahead and get the iron on this. Looks good. Let's do the second one. I was jumping the gun there, thinking about a great dinner napkin. Okay. Looks good. You can check it now with your ruler. Yeah, that looks really good. Okay, now you get that iron on it. It's step by step. And each time you go, you undo the corner and then we'll refold it. And now we're doing the last, which is the 1 inch. So with this one, I'm not going to unfold the right-hand corner, but I am going to unfold the left-hand corner. Because I know with the sequence, this ends up being our last stitch and we go over the 1/4 inch. So I'm pressing this up with my fingers right now, that 7/8. That's that line I drew. That looks good. So here I didn't unfold it on that side, but on the other side, I did. I did unfold that. Blocking. And now we're going to go up 1 full inch. We see our line. Let's finger press it. Okay, now let's get the iron on it. And let me make sure I block right there. I'm pressing that. I don't want to drag it and pull this at an angle and torque anything. Okay. So we have pressed everything, even though the corners are undone. This is totally fine. And we are ready to go ahead and start our sewing. So that's going to be in part 2 of our hem samples. I'm Annette Julie, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Au revoir.